Time. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch me. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Ducks athletics.
I don't know about everybody else today, but I guess it's called X now, my X Twitter app just hasn't worked all day. So I feel like this is the most out of touch I've ever been when doing a Duck Insider. But the good news is that we already have a bunch of interviews recorded with Will Stein, the offensive coordinator for the Ducks, met with the media last night. Also, Tosh Lupoi, the defensive coordinator, met with the media last night. And we did a number of interviews here in the Country Financial Studio with Duck football because Oregon football does continue practicing today. Oregon will be in Shells again today. It will be day 3 of fall camp. We talked with Casey Rogers and kicker Camden Lewis. I got to tell you, Camden Lewis might have actually been the best interview on Media Day. That's a high bar, really high bar that Camden Lewis set. Also, I do want to remind you about the Fan Fest for Duck Athletics. The Oregon Athletic Department hosting a Fan Fest Sunday, August 13th in the Mashofsky Center. Student athletes from Oregon football, soccer, volleyball, women's and men's basketball will be in attendance. Tons going on. Event starts at 11 a.m., runs until 12:30 p.m. Admission is free, and free parking in the Mashofsky lot and in the Autzen East lot. That is next Sunday. We're a little over a week away from Fan Fest. I'm looking forward to it. No word yet if Rob Mosley will agree to be in the dunk tank. We're going to try. We're going to do our best. All right, let's hear from offensive coordinator Will Stein. He did meet with the media last night. A number of topics to cover, talking with the new Oregon offensive coordinator Will Stein.
What can Bo do at this time over the next couple of weeks, particularly pre-snap, in your system with this experience here in the spring, learn the offense already? What are the things you can improve on in the next couple of weeks?
I think since we're battling our defense every day is understanding their keys, their tendencies, and they have a lot in on defense, which is great for us. They test us every single day. I think Dan and Tosh do a good job of prepping those guys on defense, and Bo gets a lot of looks each day. So in terms of what can he do, continue to be a student of the game, make sure his body's right, his nutrition, his recovery, and then just get a little bit better each day. I know that's coach talk, but that's all we're looking for right now.
When you were pursuing transfer receivers throughout the offseason, what were the traits you were looking for? I mean, everybody wants the biggest, the fastest, the strongest, the best hands. Yes, everyone wants those things. What are the things you were kind of honing in on, and why was Gary Bryant a fit in that regard?
Yeah, I think the guys that we brought in, we did it because, of our DNA traits, guys that are connected to the team, that want to grow, that want to sacrifice, and they're tough players. And we feel really confident about the guys that we brought in and the current guys on the roster.
You didn't have Terrence for all of spring. What does having him healthy back bring to your offense? What does that unlock in the offense?
Yeah, T-Ferg's a great player. That whole room, I think we added some really quality depth. Terrence has done a great job of getting back to the point where he can go out there and practice and get himself ready to play against Portland State, and just excited to see what he can do for us this fall.
How has yours and Bo's relationship kind of grown over the last couple of months, from spring camp to summer camp, now to fall camp? How do you think you two are connecting on a coach-to-player basis?
Yeah, I think we share a lot of commonalities in terms of our personality, our intensity, our attention to detail. Both of us played quarterback. So we share a lot of things on the field, but off the field, he's a man of faith like I am. He's a family man. He's connected to his community like I feel I am, and he's just a great human being. So try to do everything I can to keep developing that relationship. You know, we talk every single day after practice. I call him on my way home. He calls me. So we're always bouncing ideas off each other.
What are those conversations, those post-practice conversations like?
You know, there's some life. There's some what's up with Izzy and Darby, our wives, and how's my family? What's Joey doing? Is he in bed yet? And then there's the, okay, what are we doing on 4 verts today? Where's the protection? Do we like how this formation is? You know, he's as much as involved in this offense as anybody, because I want him to feel extremely comfortable, and whoever's playing quarterback in terms of going out there and executing.
How do you balance getting everybody equal reps and also forming an idea of who can play, who can't? How do you handle that balance?
Yeah, so Dan does a great job. You know, before practice, we really chart out reps for everybody to make sure that they're equal reps. Because, I mean, this is fall camp. It's a long camp. You know, it's hot out here in Eugene right now, so we're going to make sure guys are fresh. So we chart all that stuff before we even go out to the practice field, so we make sure that guys aren't getting overloaded. And, you know, we follow that pretty closely the entire time.
How involved will you get with position battles throughout the entire offense? Obviously, you run the QB's room, but, like, interior offensive line, do you leave that to Alik and Mike and Cutter to do their deal and then take their input and let them decide?
Yeah, that's pretty much, I mean,
day-to-day, or?
You know, Dan obviously oversees me, and I oversee the entire offense. So in terms of any position, depth, battles, and who's going out first, it'll ultimately go up the ladder. But we let Elite, Cutter, and Cav kind of start there, start blending the groups together, and then, you know, by game 1, I'll make the final decision with Dan, and we'll rock and roll.
There was a good running back rotation last year in the offense. Is there a number in your head or your scheme where you think, you know, too many running backs, too many cooks in the kitchen? Is there a number that you have in mind?
Every great team I've been on has used multiple backs. You know, I mean, I think if you can play 3 or 4 a game, I think that's really good. Obviously, there's going to be kind of your 1A, 1B, you know, maybe your second, third back that are going to rotate in. But, you know, you like to keep those guys healthy. It's a really violent position, and they all have great skill sets, so we want to be able to utilize them all.
Dan talked yesterday just about playing fast, getting back into football shape. When you hear those words and those goals, like, what does that look like from an offense, like, when you hear that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we played a lot faster today. You know, a lot of it's when you're no-huddle offense, you got to, you know, get lined up, see the signal, go execute the play. A receiver's running 40 yards down the field, you got to come back to the line of scrimmage. So there's a lot of moving parts, and you can only simulate football if you play football, right? Like I tell guys all the time, there's not a pickup league around the corner that can just go suit up and play ball. The only way you can play football and get better at it is to practice it, and then ultimately you go in the games, right? So it's obviously impossible to simulate full speed, full game reps until you go out in Autzen Stadium and play football.
He's only had a 1,000-yard receiver the last 8 years. Hasn't had a first or second round receiver in 25. He just produced 1,000-yard, almost 2,000-yard receivers. We've had multiple. What's going to be the key for Troy, for Tez, for Trayshawn, for Gary, to break that trend and to be those guys and to be that pro-level prospect for this team?
Yeah, I mean, we had success where I was at before because we were extremely detailed in the passing game. Our protections matched up, and you can never control what stats guys are going to get. And, you know, it's a great thing to have. It's really cool. Ultimately, winning is the most important, whether we got to throw it 50 times or run it 50 times. But, you know, I think we have a really good group. I think somebody's bound to hit that mark. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to hit that mark and wanting to achieve those goals. Ultimately, it's about wins and losses. But, you know, I think the guys in our room have those qualities like we did, you know, at the place I just was.
So to watch the film of practice today, what are you looking for to decide that this was an effective, productive practice for you guys?
Yeah, you know, we talked about it in our meeting today. Are we finishing? That was the major word today, was finish. And again, that goes back to getting into shape, right? Are the linemen chasing the ball on the field? Are the quarterbacks pushing the herd? Are receivers fighting their butt off to get back, to get set? And then ultimately eliminating mental mistakes. You know, we're going to go up today and we're going to chart how many MAs we had. How many times was the ball in jeopardy? Those are the little things that add up to big things, and that's what I'm looking for from today's practice.
Go ahead. There's been a lot of hype around the fan base, especially around Jorion Dickey. After getting him in town and being able to see him on the field a little bit, what are your overall impressions?
Yeah, he's a football player, you know. He's got really, really good ball skills. He wants to be really good. You know, he shows up early. He takes notes. He's doing his best to be a pro. There's still a lot of growth for him. He's nowhere near ready for him to go out and produce at the level that he wants to, but day by day he's getting better. And I see a kid that wants it, and he's a football player. Like, he's going to block, he's going to catch the ball in traffic. He's an exciting player. I'm excited about him.
In general, last question. In general, what do you need to see from a true freshman this month to feel comfortable playing them maybe next month?
Being able to get lined up, run the right route, execute their assignment. It's true freshmen are. You'd love to play them all. Obviously, this is a tough game at this level. The intensity, the physicality, the emotion, the knowledge that you have to play at an extremely high level to go win game after game. It's tough to get as a freshman, but some can, so just get a little bit better each day. And, all those kids have done really good so far.
That's Will Stein, Duck offensive coordinator, following the second practice last night. The Ducks will practice again this afternoon, also in Shells. We're again talking with both sides of the ball. Wide receivers coach and co-offensive coordinator Junior Adams meeting with the media today, as well as safeties coach, co-defensive coordinator Chris Hampton. That's all scheduled today. We'll have those interviews for you on Monday's Duck Insider, because it is Friday, after all. Slow news day. When we come back, Tosh Lupoi, defensive coordinator for the Ducks. He also talked with the media last night. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Oregon Fall Camp continues the ramp up toward the season. Portland State going to be here before we know it. I believe it's what, like exactly 3 weeks from Saturday? 4 weeks from Saturday? I lose track. I think it's 4 weeks from Saturday. Yeah, 4 weeks from Saturday. Can you believe that? Almost football season. We heard from Will Stein, Oregon offensive coordinator. Now Tosh Lupoi, the Duck defensive coordinator. After practice last night, he met with the media as well. First question, jumping in, he was asked about Nico Reed, one of the new additions to the roster, and there's a few that he talks about. Here's Tosh Lupoi on Nico Reed and a whole lot more.
Fired up about him. I'm not, comparing him to anybody, but we've obviously had limited time, but 2 days out there. He's been a ball hawk. He's attacking the process. Fits really well with the culture, and excited to see him improve.
Same question with Kyrie Jackson. Just what impressed you about him during spring ball in these last few days?
Yeah, post-spring ball, you definitely see a glimpse of greatness there, and that's our responsibility to bring it out of him. So consistent play is what we're challenging from him, and after 2 days, he's been attacking that.
From last year to this year, what are some of the things that you really want to see this defense improve upon?
Everything. Yeah, we want to be a defense that's respected and feared, and the only way we get there is what we do in the body of work every single day out here. So we had a lot of things we focused on and improved, and a lot of things that we need to get better at.
What are some of those things, Tosh, in terms of situational awareness and pass defense, like 3rd and 7+? Just how do you, when you have a veteran group in the secondary in particular, with a lot of juniors, a lot of seniors, 5th, 6th-year guys, just how do you attack and address situational awareness?
Yeah, we just got to get better at what we're doing. You know, that was one of the coolest things about the continuity of the staff and having the ability to focus on a self-scout is to see where we went wrong, see where we went right, and fix the things where we went wrong. So obviously, 3rd down defense, you know, pass defense was something that we didn't address, you know, and then really diving into those statistics, never assuming anything. So, you know, when you focus on something and you actually don't see a whole lot of balls going over the top, you know, that it's not like you look at a statistic and then make determination from that. You know, we want to always allow the evidence to drive the theory, and so when we get in there and dive deep, something we can do a lot better is the shallow and short game passing, defense, and the way we attack, the coverages we call, and the tackles we can make in space.
More aggression.
Just going to improve at everything. If we want to, I would love to improve our aggression. Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on the inside linebacker crew as a whole?
Really fired up and excited to see them operate. Thought we made some major strides in the spring as a whole, and you know, every day trying to get something, just one thing out of each of them. So targeting, you know, what can each individual improve at, and then collectively we grow as a group.
I guess there was just a change in body type at linebacker. It seemed like this offseason, players packing on weight, some guys moving over from safety and gaining weight. Kind of what behind that, and what do you want those players to look like when you strap it on next month?
Yeah, I mean, it's important from what we do. We got to be able to run and run fast, but that doesn't mean it's a finesse group by any means. So it's a versatile position. It's a position that's got to strike with physicality and be in position to stop the run, but it's also a position that's, you know, got to run with 3 in specific concepts, got to do some things that's not easy to do. So you need a well-rounded individual that can strike, attack, that can rush, that can stop the run, and thankfully being at Oregon, we believe we can both recruit and then add and develop those individuals.
Your defense is going up against an offense that had a lot of success last season, returning a lot of veteran players. Just how fun has it been for you to now be in fall camp and competing against an offense like that and kind of showing off the skills that you have really worked on growing in the spring?
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, being at Oregon, iron sharpens iron. So got a lot of great offensive players out there. We got plenty of great defensive players as well. So now, you know, it's just the competitive edge that each group brings it every single day. That's the focus. You know, Coach Stein and the offense are doing a lot of great things for us that are going to prepare us better for the season as far as what they're doing on offense as well, and for us to adjust to that. So it's great to see.
Tashim and Evan both played in the box and deep, a good bit deep in the spring. What do you like about them deep, and how much does guys like Cole and Jaleel and Nickel kind of play into whether or not you keep them deep or move them back in the box a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the focal point of their position, you know, you're going to ask those guys obviously to play a half-field safety, to play in the box, to cover man-to-man. We're going to bring those guys in pressures as well. So, again, it's an individual that's capable of doing all that, and confident that those guys, along with Steve Stevens, along with Brian Addison, you know, we got a group there that's thriving off of each other, competing, and just excited to continue to see their development, really.
It's kind of been billed as the European quarterback in the Pac-12. As a defensive coach, how much motivation does that give you?
Well, I think, you know, I played in this conference. My quarterback was Aaron Rodgers, played against multiple Heisman Trophy winners. This conference has an awesome reputation. So offense, you know, excels, and it all starts with the quarterback. So I think that's just consistent within this conference. You know, it makes it harder, and we love that challenge. And we're going to do our best to affect those guys.
How do you and Coach Stein kind of work together to fill each other's gaps? When you see something on the defensive end, maybe he notices that needs fixed, or you see something on the offense, when you guys do something right, how does your guys' relationship?
Yeah, well, I think really highly of the man. I think he's an elite coach, and you know, probably most importantly, just the continuity within us as a staff. You know, he's someone that's just going to walk into my office, or I'm going to walk in his office, and if there's a certain look we want to see or something we want to do, us both being open-minded to be able to do that and work with each other. So it all starts there. And again, just naturally from what they're doing, there's a lot of additions there that are difficult to prepare for. So really good for us to see them.
What does a healthy Popo offer you guys at that zero and shade, particularly from pass rush aspect that is just missing at times last season? What does he offer you?
Yeah, anytime you ask me a question regarding a large man that can move fast and strike with violence and rush the passer, it's going to excite us. So, you know, that's what Popo does. So what I respect about Popo is what he's been doing off the field with body preservation, the ways of attacking his rehab, his diet. You know, when you look at his weight, sometimes it's surprising of what he is, and then when you see him move out there. So really excited about it, you know, and of how he's attacking every day. And, you know, now with him, it's about getting the rust off, you know, getting in tune schematically, and then, of course, improving from the fundamentals and technique.
On that same note, what's impressed you about Jordan Birch since he got here? What makes him special?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a guy with the right measurables, right? So it's an individual that there's quite a few individuals that play up front in the National Football League that look like him. So the big challenge to Jordan is to play with the physicality, to play with a relentless effort consistently. So you see those flashes with them, and when you see it, you see greatness. And again, it's our job to really bring that out of them.
I know connection is one of your DNA traits. Just how would you describe your connection with the defensive players, and just how has that really grown and have benefit, do you think, in the spring heading into fall camp?
Yeah, well, around 15 years ago, but before not knowing anything about the coaching world and converting from an ex-player to that profession, I learned quickly that just connecting with your players and playing with a relentless effort puts you in a position to have a lot of success. So I think you know, it's important for us and our job to reach out to these guys. And I'm doing something right now where I try to meet with a minimal of 2 players a day, and really not talk a whole lot about football, you know, but to just dive in and check on the mental health, and you know, something might come out with my family or their family, and ultimately we're going to get a lot better result out there on the field if we're truly playing for something bigger than just ourselves.
Tosh Lupoi, Oregon defensive coordinator, meeting with the media. We heard from both him and Will Stein, both the 2 coordinators for this team. And it's brought to you by the William Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. When we come back, we continue our series of student-athlete interviews in the Country Financial Studio. Casey Rogers, Camden Lewis. It's Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We're back next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You know, on a day like today, as we welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union, OnPoint, people are the point. A day like today, it's just awesome that ESPN's doing their annual ESPN 8, the Ocho feed. It's one of my favorite things that ESPN does. Right now, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, it's like professional wiffle ball is on right now. It's great. Like, I love this annual tradition that they've done. Also, dodgeball, just a true gem of a movie. We continue with Casey Rogers, Oregon defensive lineman. We're going to hear from Cam Lewis coming up in a little bit. We had Casey in the studio. Someday, he's talked about he wants maybe to be a broadcaster. He could do this job. There's no doubt about it. Casey Rogers, I talked with him as part of Media Day, getting you ready for Duck football season. Here's Casey. We were just saying before we press record that you're a veteran of this now. You've done your 2-minute life story. You've been in the studio a couple times. I mean, so I asked you, Casey, like, what should I ask you today? And Casey was a very, very, very respectful gentleman and just said, whatever you want to do. I don't have anything for you. So I'm giving you till the end of the interview if you want to revise that statement.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Okay.
Like you said, I've had my fair share of interviews.
Yeah,
so
you've done a few of these.
I think I've answered any question I can think of.
Yeah, you've also sat in this chair, though.
Yeah.
You've been the interviewer.
Maybe I should ask you questions.
Nobody needs to hear that. But you can if you want. I mean,
I'll think about it.
Anything you want to know. What was the offseason like? Take fans through the offseason for us.
Yeah, no, this offseason's been great. It's been, for me personally, it was pretty different than last year, with, transferring and, coming off of an injury last year. It was, instead of focusing on strength and conditioning, I was more focused on rehab. So this summer it was huge to be able to, really focus on strength and conditioning and get really prepared for my season, and especially playing spring ball. Last year I wasn't able to play in spring ball, so that's a big gap of not playing football from the end of the season to the start of the season. So for me, it was just get my feet back under me during the season, and then this off season has really been strength, get as strong as I can. And, keep my body right, because at this point, I'm older. A lot of us older guys, we're pretty developed, you know what I mean? So it's not much of a project for the strength and conditioning staff. It's more of just, keeping our bodies right and getting ready for the season. But, I always just try to get as strong as I can in the summertime, so it's pretty fun.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, you talk about like that you guys are developed, and now it is so paramount to keep your body healthy.
No doubt.
Like, did 18-year-old Casey Rogers think that way? Like, did you kind of have to grow into that mindset?
No. I mean, it was, for me, it was just kind of something I naturally had to do, was take, yeah, like you said, when I was 18, I probably able to do a little bit more, maybe, but to be able to, being the best players are always available. So, being able to, stay, healthy and, be in the training room, doing prehab and not just being there when you're injured, stretching and stuff like that. That's part of the job of being a college football player. So, the best players are all, it might be annoying for the trainers to have someone in there all the time, but, it's your body's an investment, and you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So, that it's just extremely important, not just being in there when you're hurt, being in there before practice, before the season, really, getting the kinks out before the season so you're ready to go when you're in the season.
You talked about like how this has been a different year for you personally, but the consistency for the entire team carrying over a defense. How big of a deal is that? Can you speak to that from a veteran perspective?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're your second year in that with a DC and an operation is always a huge jump from year one to year two. For me personally, I can even remember my career, my first year to second year was my biggest improvement. It's just like, the guys now understand fully the whole aspect of the defense. Not what their job is, but what other guys are doing around them. And that just makes you play faster, more free, and less fear of failure. And we all have that desire to excel. So it's just more free flowing, more natural. Guys understand what they're doing. Guys are moving a lot quicker, not second guessing themselves because now they know what they're doing. So that's the big thing with year 2 in a lot of programs is now there's a culture that's already been implemented, and then there's a defense and a scheme that we all now understand.
D-line room. Take us inside of it. A lot of depth, I feel.
A lot of depth, lots of depth, and lots of lot of age. We kind of one day we kind of added up how many years of experience we have.
Wow.
It's like over 50 between Popo's. I think he's year 7. I'm year 6. Taki's year 5 or year 6. There's a lot of age, and with a lot of age comes a lot of value. So a lot of wisdom. We're kind of like the wizards, like the old wise wizards of the group. So it just kind of reminds me of like the movie 300, where they have to go up to the top of the mountain and consult with the old wise men. That's kind of the D-line room. So.
Now for Halloween, you all need to dress up.
Yeah, we're not
like
the prettiest, but we have a lot of wisdom. So, but yeah, no, it's awesome, because a lot of those guys, we've all been playing the same amount of time, so we all understand where we're at in our careers, and there's a huge understanding between us all of what we want, and we're able to coach those young guys up too, with the wisdom and the experience we've had. And give it to the young guys, because I remember when I was a young football player, like all I wanted to do was learn from the older guys, be a sponge. I was in a room back in Nebraska with three NFL players at one time, and I was just like, I might not play this year, but the best thing I can do is just learn from these guys, because they have what it takes to do what I want to do. So, so that's one great thing that this D-line has done is that we already talked about. There's a lot of great, a lot of us have great potential to be like the alpha male or the leaders of the group, but it's not like that. We're all leaders of the group. So it's pretty fun, and it's great, going to work with guys who understand the culture and understand what we want to get out of this year.
Yeah, you've all been around the block a few times.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, once or twice.
Yeah.
Casey Rogers with us. I'm kind of curious, because I was talking with Troy Franklin and Trico's Bridges about this, that they'll go against each other, different positions, but they play against each other in practice. They'll talk to each other like, what do I do that makes it complicated? Well, for you, like, how much do you do that with offensive linemen even? Like, it's one thing to coach up a young D-line, but it's a young O-line that you're going against now in practice.
Yeah, no, I think being able to be competitive with them outside of football too, in the weight room and stuff like that is huge too. Personally, Jackson Powers Johnson and I, that same competitive that we have on the field, like for some reason I feel like I'm running into him every play, or we're hitting each other every play. That same competitive drive is what we did this year in the weight room. Like me and him were lifting partners, and it wasn't like, and yeah, like he's one of my best friends. I love him to death, but like it was like, I'm gonna lift more than you today, and he would come back at me, and and that was the fun part. Like the dude can bench 500 pounds. My bench was good, but it wasn't as good as him. But that got my bench better. I'm known for being able to squat, and his wasn't as high as mine, but he PR'd 3 times this summer. So it's, it was just something that me and him kind of looked at each other and said, like, we're the guys going against each other every day. I think sometimes the coaches think it's funny how many times we just run into each other and butt heads, and after every practice one of us will be banged up somehow. But it's pretty funny how that carried over in the weight room this year, and how like we took advantage of being competitive, and I can tell you right now, him and I are both as strongest we've ever been. So it was really fun summer. It was really beneficial to work out with him, and I think the same thing goes with summer drills and like running and conditioning and stuff like that. Being able to run against the offensive line. As a D lineman, you should never lose an O lineman, in my opinion, and they probably feel the same way the other way around. So. Just being competitive drives great success. So it's fun. It was a good summer.
And we've said you've done this a time or two. What's a successful fall camp for a defensive lineman for your entire group?
Yeah, I mean the way to look at fall camp is you're still not technically. I mean you're in season, but you're not. It's still time to really focus on your technique. Learn the playbook, especially for young guys. To learn the technique, learn the playbook. And be consistent. I mean, so and it's still you still have time to get better at the things that you weren't necessarily good at. So, what you should know by now what that is coming out of spring, and all summer you've really been working it without pads on and stuff like that. But now it's time to put the pads on and see if what you've been doing all summer worked, and if it hasn't, then find another way for it to work. So, Successful fall camp is also coming out completely healthy. So that's a big thing too. And our coaches and strength staff do a great job with our player load. You know, they're always, you know, scientifically looking at how we're doing, how we're operating, how our heart's beating. So it's pretty fun, you know, when your coaches are looking out for you like that, because, you know, sometimes the thing will be going too hard and you get worn out and you get hurt, but that's not the case here. So it's pretty nice.
You know, you just struck me as a coach when you said the healthy part. Because I asked Coach Lanning this, and he was like, come out healthy.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt. No, it's
you've
crucial.
done this before.
It's crucial. I mean, you see a lot of times, sometimes in the first game of the year, sometimes teams come out banged up, and it's just not beneficial at all. I mean, you want to have a competitive physical camp, but you can't go overboard with it. And you know, we don't do that here, so it's pretty nice. You know, we use the statistics and the science behind, you know, everything we do. So it's pretty fun. You know, being an older guy, you don't have to worry about crushing yourself and fall. I mean, you want to physically test yourself and, you know, push yourself to the limit, but you also got to be, you know, smart too, to make sure you're coming out alive and healthy for the first game.
Casey Rogers, what did we miss?
What did we miss? I don't know.
We got it all. We did it.
Oh,
we did it. See, I was seeing if we missed anything.
I don't know.
Did you want to add anything? What else should fans know?
What else? I don't know. Like I said, I've been asked every question in the book, so it's tough.
I didn't come up with anything unique for him today. Next time.
Yeah,
Next time. Casey, thanks, buddy.
Yep, appreciate it.
Appreciate the time.
Yep.
I actually thought he was going to have something at the end like, Joey, you should ask me this, and we covered our bases. I mean, so Casey, next time you're on with us, whether it be Duck Insider or the Coach's Show, which starts up in a few weeks, I'm going to really push myself to come up with something unique for Casey. I do remember when I asked him his 2-minute life story, he was like, oh, that's different. You know, that one usually gets people. Common question for me is, what advice would you give to your 17, 18-year-old self? I feel like he's probably gotten asked that once or twice. I thought one time about asking him, what's the wildest question you've ever been asked? But that seems kind of, then I'm just going to steal that question. Like, I don't want to do that. In any case, Casey Rogers, always fun to catch up with him. Next, we're going to go in and talk a little specialists. That's right, Camden Lewis. It was fun catching up with Camden Lewis. That's next. Stay tuned. Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Slow news day in the Country Financial Studio. I still have not been able to open my Twitter app, X app, all day. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Amethyst and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot fast and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. OnPoint Community Credit Union proudly supports University of Oregon athletics. OnPoint people are the point. The person of point today is Camden Lewis in this segment. The Oregon kicker that's been very, very consistent. That's, you take that for granted on special teams sometimes, don't you? Just how consistent a kicker can impact a game. We talked about that with Camden Lewis. We continue our series of student-athlete interviews with Duck kicker Cam Lewis. When Media Day rolls around and one of the veterans on the roster is from special teams, that's a happy day for me. So you will, I think, appreciate this. Camden Lewis is with us. Hi, Cam. How are things?
What's up? How's it going?
Good off-season?
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
How's the golf game?
Getting better every day.
Good.
Yep.
Good. So I asked this before we went on. I got to ask you on the air. I thought you were the best golfer on the team.
I mean, I'll tell people I am.
Okay.
But then I'll go play with some of the other guys, and it gets close.
So you're an honest guy. Like,
yeah.
You could have sat here and been like, no, Joey, I am the best golfer on the team.
Well, then they would have seen it, and then, yeah.
It just starts a whole thing.
It's just not worth it.
So if you're going to do a scramble with Oregon football, like who's on the 4-person scramble?
I get to take 3 guys.
Yeah.
Bailey Jaramillo, without a doubt.
Okay.
Andrew Boyle. And then this 4th spot could be like 10 different guys.
Okay, that's fair.
But those 2 are like, yeah.
Locks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Notice that specialists.
Yeah. Yeah, if Andrew and I are on a scramble team, it's
over.
We're going low.
Yeah. Good. Good. That's great. So yeah. I have famously said, Cam, on our broadcast that some of my favorite things in football, I love a good kicker and I love a good punter.
Yep. I can't punt.
Can change the game, though, special teams. I mean,
yeah.
Any type of kicking. Now, so when a broadcaster says that, you can imagine a lot of people are like, oh, come on, Joey. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're sitting here saying that you love a kicker and a punter. Cam, I'm telling you, I love a good kicker. And I love a good kicker because of what you did against Washington State. I love a good kicker for the insane accuracy that you've had. So just on behalf of everyone everywhere, thank you for being an accurate kicker.
Thank you. You should see me on the golf course.
See, this is gonna be.
We haven't played yet. We need to.
Yeah. Oh, I'm terrible. I'm no Nate Kruger. Okay.
Well, I've played with him a couple times. He's solid.
Yeah. I'm no Nate.
Yeah. It's all about how much you get out there, though.
And that's play more. I'm a dad now, Cam.
I see. That's.
He can ride around in the stroller, I guess, but nobody needs.
Have you seen those golf cart strollers that have the little club slots?
No, but I need one now.
You need to get one.
Yeah. All right. This is what we learned when we talked to Camden Lewis. Okay. Also, this is your first time in the studio.
I've been here before.
But have you ever had to tell your 2-minute life story?
I did have to do that, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, you thought you were going to
I was going to make you do it again.
I could do it again if you want, but.
So you did it 2 years ago?
No, I was in here during last season, and then I did another thing with Rob where he made me do the same thing.
That's
so
right.
I could do it a third time if you want.
No, I feel like you would nail it.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think I was like a minute 47.
That's good.
And I thought I was going to be like way off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. I stand corrected. I was ready to have you do it again because I thought it had been a while since you had done it, but it was just last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It runs together for me.
The years go by. Trust me, I'm on year 5. It feels like I just got here.
Do you feel like so it hasn't hit you yet?
No. It's hit me, and like I'm content with it, and I've accepted it. But it's like, man, that went quick.
It does go fast.
Yeah, and it's like now that I feel so comfortable now with everything. Like I'm like, man, I just want it to keep going. Like this is so much fun now. I didn't have a lot of fun with it when I first got here.
Really?
You know? Oh yeah.
You've talked about that a little bit before.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a progression, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It takes time to get comfortable. And it's not something you can just teach someone. Like you got to go through the experiences to really get it.
What would you now tell your 17-year-old, 18-year-old self? Like, what advice would you give yourself?
Well, I've got an 18-year-old who I get to talk to every day with Grant. Yeah. So, I mean, if you followed us two around, you'd hear all the things. But
is he being a sponge?
I think so.
Good.
I think he's being a great learner. He's good to have around because it helps remind me of the things I need to work on. You know, just teaching him different little things I've learned over the years helps me realize, like, man, like you don't think about it till you verbalize it, and then you start to teach yourself.
Sure.
So yeah, just telling him, like, you know, in practice, like, dude, like remember to breathe. You know, like how dumb does that sound? But you'll forget. You know, like remember, like your breathing will bring you back into your body. Like remember to be in the moment, to be present, not to think about the result of the kick you're about to go take. Like, don't think about those things. Just get comfortable, take a deep breath, and be in the moment, and things like that you just don't, you don't think about.
I feel like every position in any sport, there's more of a mental aspect maybe than we all realize until it's, you're in that moment. But
yep.
I feel like it's even more amplified with your position, just with the nature of it in the sport. Is that a fair assessment? Like, do you think about that stuff too?
Of course, and that's why I work so much on mental stuff. I read books and stuff all the time, and watch videos on just like how to be a better mental performer. Like, it's huge. Because kicking doesn't change. You go. It's like the golf swing. You do the same thing every time.
Repetitive motion, right?
Hey, there's going to be a snap. There's going to be a hold. You're going to go through your steps. You're going to kick it. There's no like developing play that I have to read or anything like that. And the simplicity of it is one of the things that makes it so hard. Because it's like this should be easy. This shouldn't be hard. I should be able to do the same thing every time. But in reality, like you're trying to make contact on a football on the size of a dime, and then connecting that to the size of the dime on your foot, like. You're trying to do this perfect thing over and over, and there's going to be little imperfections, which is going to cause variations, and you just have to get used to that.
It's amazing that you bring up that mental aspect too, because if you tell yourself it's easy, then suddenly it doesn't seem as easy. I mean, I don't know, just stuff like that. I just am really impressed with you and the way that I've heard to be honest, a lot of other specialists talk about how it is such a unique aspect.
And that's one of the reasons the pro guys are so good, because it's not that they're any better at actually kicking the football. They're just so locked in and so confident, and they just know what's going to happen every single time.
I'm going to ask you what might sound like an obvious question now, but your chemistry and comfortability with your holder, how big of a deal is that?
It's huge, and it's interesting. I've had a different holder almost every year.
So that's what I was kind of thinking about.
Yeah.
Like, you've had so many different holding partners.
Yeah, I'm jealous of some of the guys who have been able to be with the same dude for 4 years. Like, that sounds like that'd be pretty cool. But honestly, I've been able to make a quick connection every year with my holders. And this year it'll be Ross James, who's my roommate, and one of my golfing buddies. He might be the fourth guy in that group. We mentioned earlier.
Is he going to be mad that he didn't get the call already?
He didn't get the immediate, no. Yeah, maybe.
Sorry, Ross.
Sorry,
we'll
Ross.
edit that out. We'll edit that out.
Ross, you hit the ball really far, man. And none of us are denying it, but it doesn't always go straight.
Good.
No, but and Ross is one of my roommates and one of my close friends. So, and we work all off season. It's like we've had a year together. He was our second string holder last season. Like I've kicked with him before, so I'm pretty confident with him too, as much as I was with all the other guys.
You've been through this now a time or two. What's a successful fall camp for you and the rest of the specialists?
Well, fall camps got better and better every year. Like I said, I've gotten more comfortable. Successful fall camp for me is just like making sure I'm ready with that snapper and holder, like getting a ton of repetition with those guys, because it's so easy to get to the end of camp, and it's like, hold on a second, we really haven't got through all the things we need to do. Like, if we got a, clock ticking down, need to sprint in the field, kick a field goal, like, have we practiced that? Have we gone through every scenario possible? So it's not necessarily a numbers thing. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself on like statistics or numbers, because you got to take it day by day, kick by kick. But it's really just, have we done everything we need to do to be ready to go out there and make field goals on game day?
Awesome. Cam, thanks for being here again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Camden Lewis, duck kicker. Consistency. That's what you're always looking for. That was fun catching up with him. I honestly was surprised that he wasn't the best golfer on the team. I thought he was. I've now learned that apparently in the Jaramillo family, there's some good golfers. I think it might be the hair. It's very possible that helps you on the golf course. I don't know. When we come back, Ty Thompson, duck quarterback from Media Day. We've got that on the horizon on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Ty Thompson, one of the many Ducks that we heard from on Media Day. The Oregon quarterback took a number of different questions sitting with reporters on Media Day. Heading into fall camp is when this conversation took place, and we continue to hear from a ton of Oregon football student athletes now. And after they've gone through a few practices, a lot of the student athletes are scheduled to meet with the media next week. That's when you hear from some of the Duck football players again. Ty Thompson, let's hear a little bit from him on Media Day.
On 10. I mean, everyone's buzzing. We all just got back here this weekend. Got the team back, and we're all just super excited to get back in the pads. We all love football so much. We came here to really do this stuff. So fall camp is really what it's all about. Like, you're all about ball all day, every day for like 30 days straight. So everyone's just really excited to get back.
From last year to this year, what did you want to improve upon the most?
Yeah, I feel like the process is something that I can improve upon. Like, I feel like going into every week, obviously we have Bo coming back, and I feel like I have to have the same mindset as last year, like how I was competing for the job and pushing myself every week, every practice, preparing like I'm going to be the guy, because at the end of the day, it could be me any week, any play, any snap. So,
how confident are you in your game right now?
As confident as I've ever been. I feel like the confidence level has never wavered. That's never been a problem for me. So I feel like I've always been the same player. So I'm still confident in my game.
When you guys had a couple players, Trayshawn, Tez, just what was that competition been like from your perspective, and how those guys helped you guys out with this?
Yeah, I mean, they're dynamic players. Trayshawn and Tez, both of them bring very different things to the table. And I feel like we already have a pretty stacked receiver room, returning guys. So, like you said, the competition has just made everybody better. And I feel like, Trayshawn and Tez have done a great job, coming in humbly, working hard, and, trying to prove themselves just as much as, the returning guys are trying to keep their spots.
What are some of the things that you've learned from Bo, that you've taken from Bo over this last year and a half?
Some things. That's hard. Bo, I mean, at this point, like, our friendship relationship is like a big brother to me. Like, it's crazy the things that I've learned from him, how he operates, whether that's on a Monday or Saturday morning on a game day, because we were roommates in the hotel type stuff. So his process is impressive, the way he handles himself as a leader, as a public figure, things that he does on the field. I mean, there's unlimited things I could say about things on the field, but I mean, the most impressive stuff is how he handles himself, like as a man, as a player off the field, and as like a husband, he's just Bo has been a blessing to me, so I don't have nothing but good things to say about Bo.
You've been in a situation where you've had multiple coaches. How has that impacted your journey as a player?
I feel like being able to see the full spectrum of, multiple coaches, multiple coaching types, from 100 to 0, every kind of coaching style, and everyone learns and teaches things a little bit different. So being able to get every angle of the game, every ounce of knowledge that I can get out of every coach, and every different relationship that I can build is just a tool in my tool belt. So the different coaching changes, everyone thinks it's a bad thing, but I think change is good. Whether that's coaching or players coming and going, change is inevitable. So I think it's just the best thing that you can do is learn from it and keep adding things to your tool bag.
You talked about the tool belt. Which tool have you improved the most this offseason?
I think as a quarterback, as a passer, I think I really focus on tightening up my release, being more consistent with my ball placement and where I'm holding the ball. I've tried to, obviously the offseason is about changing your body a little bit, getting back healthy and doing all that stuff. So I've been really taking care of my body, getting a little bit leaner, doing stuff like that. Watching a lot of film, learning a lot about defenses and stuff like that, learning about our offense because we've got a bunch of new stuff coming in this year. So just being comfortable with everything like that.
Now that you're in the second year with Coach Lanning, what has changed from the first year when everybody came in? We had a lot of change. What's different now compared to when you started last year?
I feel like not a whole lot has changed. Coach Lanning's been Coach Lanning since day one. He's been his raw, truthful self since day one, and we've all respected his leadership. And he's been to say that this is his second year coming back and last year was his first year as a head coach. It's impressive the way he stepped in and didn't miss a beat. I feel like he handles himself in an elite way as a head coach, and there's not a whole lot of change when it comes to. I mean, there's obviously gonna be change because we want to do things different, and maybe win more games or be more successful this year. But as far as Coach Lanning, he's gonna be the same guy.
Awesome stuff from Ty Thompson. That was from Media Day as we have now concluded the first week of Duck Insider. Can you believe it? And, none of this would be possible, this show, without our great Quack Video interns. One of them, Gabe, is directing the show today. Well, Gabe worked hard to get these interviews yesterday. A video of how we capture the interviews. Look at this. If you're watching, Gabe is on his knees holding the microphone up underneath all of the cameras in the middle of the scrum. Coach Stein was a few steps away from the camera, and to get that good audio, Gabe gave up his body. Gabe, how's the back today?
It's a little sore.
Is it?
But you got to do what you got to do.
All right. It takes a village, everybody. Look, shout out. Good job, Gabe, setting the standard. That's it for Duck Insider this week. See you Monday.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. Brought